At Nationals, Mori and his friends face the North Chungcheong regional champions. Mori uses Bongchim's acupuncture techniques for strength, but accidentally paralyzes himself and loses to Nagidong. Drake brags to Q about killing Bongsa and his wife and baby. Q recovers and activates his Charyok, the scythe-wielding Joker playing card, and cuts Drake's arms off. Drake recovers by using his Charyok, Caterpillar, to reattach his arms. Dewey faces Jin Pumguang, an unintelligent but hard-working man who wants to help children who struggle in school. Pumguang uses his Charyok, Laborer, to summon a giant hammer, but Dewey knocks Pumguang unconscious. Q almost kills Drake, but is stopped by two Nox assassins, Priest Saturn and Axley Ivanovic. Commissioner O arrives to assist Q in combat. Meanwhile, Mira faces fellow swordswoman Zhang Jiangmi, a kendo practitioner whom she defeats, winning the match for their team. Outmatched by O and Q, Saturn and Axley flee while Drake sets off an explosion from his own body that destroys the top of the building. Mira defeats Mama Sion, an American female wrestler who entered the tournament seeking men for her harem. Mira reveals her family martial art includes swordless style, which can slice flesh using only fingers. Later, Seung-Ti deteriorates and Dewey snaps and assaults several bullies who routinely harass him at work. During his match against Mira, Dewey wins by savagely beating the swordless Mira unconscious and promising to defeat Mori in the finals. In his youth, Dewey shared a violent rivalry with Seung-Ti that developed into friendship. Mori defeats his next opponent and will face Dewey in the finals. As their match begins, Dewey and Mori are evenly skilled and Mujin watches hoping Mori will awaken. Mori knocks Dewey down and tries to show him mercy instead of taking revenge, but Dewey takes advantage, claiming he was never really their friend and unleashes a devastating attack. Dewey knocks Mori down, but as the referee begins the countdown, Mujin, who had promised to cure Seung-Ti if Dewey won, informs Dewey Seung-Ti is dead, hoping to unbalance him. Dewey flashes back through his entire friendship with Seung-Ti and decides to lose the match. Mira arrives and interrupts the match with a goodbye letter Seung-Ti wrote to Dewey. With renewed determination, Dewey rejoins the fight, rediscovering his friendship with Mori. Mori deals a final blow to a happy Dewey.
You really are the best. Blue Dragon Kick!
Winning the match, Mira defeats her next opponent, making her the third fighter. As Bongsa leaves, he is approached by a Nox assassin, Priest Drake McDonald. He duels Beak Seung-Chul, who fights with a baseball bat. Despite painful damage to his organs, Dewey destroys his bat and knocks Seung-Chul unconscious.
Hey, are you...
With that mentality. Here!
That's...
Back is down!
Mori awakens and only just makes it to his fight. He is told he will win if he can push the commissioner to the floor. Then when the commissioner mocks him, he easily pushes him down. Mori is amazed his body feels more powerful, but the commissioner is so angry he activates a supernatural power and summons a clown-like spirit to kill Mori, only stopping after being restrained by his fellow commissioners. Mujin happily confirms Mori as Tijin's tiger cub and swears to take possession of him. The next team matches begin and Jegel Teak starts his match using his Charyok, Megalodon, to brutally bite and rip his opponent. Dewey intervenes in the match, but fails to stop Teak from claiming a sadistically violent victory. The South Giala team enter the semifinals after the victory of Park Ilpio, using the ancient martial art Tikayon and his Charyok, Nine-Tails Guardian. Teak attempts to assassinate Ilpio, almost killing Mori, but Ilpio saves Mori. Mira begins her duel against Lee Marin, who reveals he has Mira's stolen Bakken, explaining he unlocked the full power of Moonlight style where Mira failed and transforms her Bakken into the sword Fengxian. Mira retrieves Fengxian, only for it to return to Marin, having recognized him as its true owner. Mori follows the map to Tijin, realizing too late he is a fake which explodes. The bomber, Fei Long, reveals he is killing weaker fighters like Mori to locate the key faster, and that he uses the Charyok doppelganger to create clones. Marin stabs Mira, declaring her too weak to wield the power to kill God. Mori is overwhelmed by the clones until Long reveals Marin and his team are dead and replaced by Nox cultists disguised using doppelganger. Furious, Mori uses an acupuncture technique to make him temporarily immune to pain. Mira refuses to give up and has a flash of divine inspiration, granting her the Charyok Lu Bu Fengxian and true ownership of the Fengxian sword. Marin attempts to use his Charyok, Kraken, but is defeated. Mori suddenly appears and easily defeats the second Nox imposter, flashbacks suggesting he killed Long to avenge the real Marin. Bongchim admits Mori has grown from Tijin's tiger cub into a true tiger. Ilpio remembers how Teak defeated his teammate, Seunjong, ending her martial arts career. Now he is determined to get Seunjong surgery to fix her leg. Dewey wins his semi-final match against Ilpio's teammate Park Seunga. Seunjong scolds Ilpio for worrying about her when he should be keeping a promise he made to Tijin. Mujin confronts Sang Mandiak, a high-ranking Nox cultist who infiltrated the arena only for Mandiak to summon his god. Mori struggles against Ilpio, who points out his every weakness, only for Mori to begin overcoming his weaknesses by copying the fighting styles of both Mira and Dewey. One of the six, Seo Hanryong, attacks the god with his 108 national treasure weapons to protect the arena. After a lengthy battle, the god is defeated and the arena saved.
National treasure number 1. Cleaving.
Meanwhile, Mori defeats Ilpio, who remembers the promise he made to Tijin that he would help Mori grow as a fighter if he ever had the chance. Ilpio suddenly receives divine inspiration from his Charyok, Nine-Tails Guardian, and awakens a new power. Mandiak happily declares the key has finally awoken. Thousands of years ago, the Nine-Tailed Guardian was betrayed by God and, after destroying half of heaven, fled to Earth and swore revenge. All Charyok users feel the awakening of Nine-Tails and instinctively fear it, except Mori, who is excited. While Ilpio is stronger, his new power causes him pain. Mori almost loses his match to Ilpio, but suddenly wins with a strange power that overwhelms even the Nine-Tails. Dewey and Mira ask Mori if he unlocked a Charyok, but Mori is unsure. Elsewhere in the hospital, John Jugok, who lost his Charyok, Mage, after being defeated by Teak, gains a new Charyok from Mandiak, Greed. that allows him to absorb other people to increase his strength. He attacks Teak only for Teak to bite him in half with Megalodon and kill him. Everyone Jugok absorbed is expelled, including Ilpio's teammates, who Ilpio is horrified to see both had limbs bitten off by Megalodon. Furious that Teak once more injured people he cares about, Ilpio attacks Teak. Meanwhile, Mandiok opens his god's summoning portal once more, allowing an army of creatures to appear. With the key located and the creatures approaching, Mugen declares the God of High School tournament officially over. Sang Mandiok calls forth God incarnate in a final act to destroy the entirety of the world, thus ending the 11-episode-long fighting tournament central to the God of High School. The United States is made aware of the situation and fires nuclear missiles on Seoul in an attempt to subdue the old god, with complete disregard to the hundreds of thousands of lives to be lost as a result of this decision. The fight between Jegal Teak and Park Ilpio continues, with Teak revealing his true form to gain an upper hand. He consumes Ilpio and releases the key from within him. In a moment of frenzy upon the appearance of the key, members of the Six, servants of the god, and Jin Mori clamor to seize the key.
Shit!
Finally!
With Mori emerging with it in his possession. In order to protect the fighters, Park Mugen teleports them away to a spirit realm. With the missiles near and the citizens of Seoul stampeding to find shelter, Jeon Yisen too teleports all of the people of Seoul to a cliffside outside of Seoul, from which they witness the destruction of the god at the hand of Yisen and his transmutation magic. In a bright flash, Mori and the other fighters are transported back to Seoul, where they see the body of the dead god. In the final moments, the key is stolen and consumed by Teak, and all bear witness to his ascension. After consuming the key, Teak transcends his mortal body and becomes a god. He begins to ambush Jin Mori and his friends, threatening to consume everything in his way. Mori's memory is triggered, and he remembers his true identity. He is actually the great god's son, Wukong the Monkey King. Despite not remembering many details of his life before becoming immortal, he jumps into action and summons his Ruyi Jingu staff to fight Teak. The Monkey King manages to get in several punches, and even drops constant lightning strikes using his power to summon Nimbus clouds.
Rain down! Again!
This enrages Teak and transforms him into a monster-like appearance. Mori's friends join in the fight and finish Teak for good.
Real Divine Dragon Fang!